everybody. So I wanted to demonstrate two new workflows. This is just recently came out. It's like a new, it's not really new, it's just a new version of the Hunyuan model, the GGUF, and it actually uses a lot less VRAM. So it makes it possible for you to basically, you can upscale to up to like 720p, maybe even higher, you know, if you push it with lower frames. But you can actually do a lot more frames at once as well, and it actually works pretty good. And I decided to kind of make a workflow that uses it, and I tried to get as close to, you know, doing image to video as possible. But basically this just takes the overall style of the image and converts it into a video. We don't have like the nodes yet that are compatible with the GGUF model yet, but once we get the right nodes that are compatible with the GGUF model, we can actually make it work better with image to video. But this is as close as I could get. I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate how it works. So right now I've got it set to 201 frames, and 201 frames seems to be a sweet spot for looping videos right now with the Hunyuan model. So if you go up to 201 frames, that's basically a 10-second video, and it kind of, you know, it's like a perfect loop. Most of the time anyways. It don't always work. And I've got this block swap node, but I don't really need it with this. This is just leftover from old work flow that I just kind of implemented this into here. But it has its own version of block swap, I guess, because it swaps. You can see here, this is the UNet loader GGUF, and I just want to show you, yeah, this is the quantized 5 version of it, GGUF. But basically it will take, okay, you can set the amount of virtual VRAM you want to swap over. Basically I've got it set to 4.5 gigabyte. Well, the GGUF model is much smaller than the regular model too, so you don't really have to swap out a whole lot of RAM as you normally would do with the normal model, because the normal model is like 20 gigabytes or so, right? This model is much smaller, so it's much more efficient. And actually I've seen that some of the quality of the videos, they seem to be better quality. I don't know why that is, you know, especially considering this is quantized, and this also runs a little bit faster too. But whenever you say, okay, I want to swap out virtual VRAM, basically what that's doing is it's placing some of the model into your RAM instead of your VRAM. So it's saving up your VRAM to do some of the more harder tasks when it comes to inferencing or decoding, encoding. All that stuff can be handled by your video card instead of a lot of the model being loaded onto your video card all at once. So this helps, you know, I mean, if you've got enough RAM in your system, I mean, practically anybody could probably use this. And I'll show you just how much RAM it saves, because it's not using near as much as the regular method. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this picture here, and I'm going to demonstrate a couple of pictures, but I'm also going to show the upscaling too, because I also made an upscaling workflow for this GGUF model as well. Go ahead and cue this. And this is my first time running this image through here, so it's going to have to load the model and everything. Let's just see how well it does. So 201 frames, that's quite a bit, you know. And I also just want to kind of demonstrate just how fast it is too when I go about just generating this video. You can already see it's already running through the sampler. You can already see it's already at 17%. Right? I'm not really doing any cuts, you know. The only cuts will be probably in between when I'm talking, because I just kind of I have it go through and automatically cut out silent parts in the video. But you can see just how fast it jumped up right there, you know. So it's already at 42%, and this is a 10-second video, right? You know, it may be low resolution, but I'm just going to show you like the difference in quality and stuff you get too. So it's basically going to copy the style of this image, and it's going to make it into a pretty decent looking video, I would say. Usually I get pretty good results with it. Let's see, it's already at 81%. Now it's decoding, and you can see here the difference in the amount of RAM that it's using. So right now it's only using 28% of my VRAM, and you can see there it copied the style of this image and made it into a 10-second video. So you can see it has a perfect loop. I didn't say that she was doing anything. I didn't put any kind of action or anything like that. Basically, it's just a general description like I always have here. But, I could put her doing some kind of action or something like that, and that would affect her movement more. And now she's just kind of posing in the portrait, and that's exactly how the image is shown. Now, it may not look exactly like the original image because this is an image to video, but it's pretty good for what it is, especially considering it's a low VRAM. It's not using near as much of your VRAM as the other method. So we're going to try another image here. I just want to show you just how it works. So, try this fantastical image here. It's like a Lego version of a pyramid head from Silent Hill. We'll run through here, and you can just see just how fast it is and just how much RAM it's actually using when it's going through the process. See, here's where it jumps up during the encoding process. And keep in mind, this is 201 frames, so it's 10-second video. And we'll just see how well it translates over. I don't know if it's going to get this exactly right. It might just generate a normal man with some kind of pyramid on his head, because like I said with my previous video, Hunyuan tends to like to make more realistic looking videos, but this looks more anime style right here. And you can see just how quickly the process is. A lot of these, people will be using these workflows that's taking them 10-20 minutes to generate one video, and that's just not efficient in my opinion. You shouldn't be trying to generate your video at the maximum resolution, and if it turns out to be something you don't like, you're having to go back and change things, stuff like that. But you just do things the way I show you here, you can get things done a lot quicker without all the headache. See, it's already decoding. This is also a 10-second video, so it didn't take long at all. It's only like a minute or two to generate each video, and it's going through quite a few steps too, the way I've got it set up. So it is Lego style, so it did copy the general style of it, and he's Lego, and he does kind of sort of have a pyramid for a head, but he's also got like a skull in the middle of it. But that's still pretty good for a 10-second video, I think, anyway. And when you upscale it, it's going to fix a lot of this the problems that you see here where your sword's kind of messing up, and then you see the sands kind of like oscillating and stuff like that. When you run it through the upscale, it fixes a lot of that. Let's find another one here. Now here's more of an animated style image. Let's see how well it does with it. Go ahead and cue this, and I want to show how the performance is too, so you can see just how much RAM is taking up right now. So 40%, but I actually want to open up my task manager here and show just how much RAM it's actually using. So in use right now, you can see it goes up as it starts generating here, about 40 gigs. That's manageable, for most people. You could have up to 64 gig. If you've got 64 gigs of RAM in your system, that should be manageable. And you can see just how much of the VRAM that it's using. So, this is possible on a 16 gigabyte video card. You don't have to have maybe even a 12 gigabyte video card. If you increase the amount of RAM that it uses, the virtual RAM, you could probably use this workflow on a 12 gigabyte video card. You can see right there, that's how much it's using it. It's only using 12.1 gigabyte. That's running through the sampler right now, but we'll see if it jumps up more when it goes through the decoding process. It's about done with the sampler, and you see it uses even less on the decoding. So it's because I'm using the tiled decoder. I'm using a tiled encoder and tiled decoder, so it's using a lot less than what it normally would. You can see there, it copied the style of the image and it put a wolf. It's not exactly an animated wolf. This one is, but it's still a really good video, and it runs in a perfect loop. You can see it's a perfect loop. At 201 frames, you get a perfect loop almost every single time you generate a video. You get a perfect loop. So we can take any of these images from Civet AI and basically copy the style of it. So I'm gonna get this girl here, and I kind of like Clear Note's images pretty good. He's he's got a unique style that he's going for here. So don't get mad, clear note, if you see me using your images to generate these videos. You should be flattered. And again, it will not look exactly like this original image. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to put out. I know it'll probably put out a girl with a mask, maybe some bunny ears, but it's not going to look like the original image. But you can see though, even if it doesn't look exactly like the original image, the outputs are really good. I rarely see like many problems with the outputs coming out of this. And that's kind of what you want. You don't want to have crappy outputs, because then that means you're going to have to go back and fix it, and it's just going to waste your time, and we don't want to waste time messing around with this stuff. The whole point of this, really, using AI and stuff like that, is just like we can say, yeah, it did generate a girl with a mask on. She also has glasses on as well. Didn't quite get the bunny ears right, but it's pretty close. And of course, it's a perfect loop. It's going to go through and reset every 10 seconds. So let's find an image where it looks like the subject is, you know, kind of walking at you, like this cat, for instance, or this girl and this dog. And we'll copy this, and we'll just put at the beginning of the prompt characters. Yeah, let me zoom in here because I'm kind of looking at this on a TV screen right now. And what we'll do is we'll put R walking toward the viewer in the, and right, and so in the is referring to image down here at the bottom, and it's going to put this together with this bottom prompt. So now we'll go ahead and generate, and let's see how well it does with the puppy and the girl. It did, you know, copy the style of the image. You can see the girl is clearly trying to walk towards us, but she's kind of stuck in place. So that could be because, let's see, under the noise and strength over here, should be over here somewhere. Where did I put it? Right there. I've got it set to 0.90, right? And that is just so that it kind of like mirrors the original image more. You can set it down lower and it will be closer to the original image, but the more that you set to the noise on the screen strength down, the more likely that you're not going to get any kind of movement at all. If I set the number of steps up though, which 12 works pretty good for this workflow, I'm going to try setting the noise and strength down even further and just kind of demonstrate how that works. I'm going to go ahead and cue it again, and actually takes less time to go through it, the processing, everything too, when you lower the noise and strength, because it already has sort of a background image to work from. So you can see where I set this the noise and strength down, it's going to start looking more like the original image here. Then you're going to get less. See, now it's looking more like the original image, at least color wise anyways. It's kind of matching the original image, and the more you lower that to noise and strength, the more it's going to look like the original image. But then also you're going to get more issues with the character movement and stuff like that. But if you bring the noise and strength all the way up, it tends to help out with that a lot better. You can get more movement. So I'm going to bring it all the way up, and you can kind of see the difference. You can see there, when we bring the noise and strength all the way up, we get a lot more movement in the image, but it doesn't look, you know, very close to the original image. So copying the style of the image and the characters in the image, but it's not exactly the same. Now, if we lower the amount of frames, 129 here, the amount of frames can actually affect how the image behaves too. So it's like I said before, if you do 201 frames, it tries to do a perfect loop. So therefore, she's walking forward and then she tries to go back to match her original position in the image. So you can see there, after we lowered the frame count, we get a much more coherent video. She's not looping back to her original position. It's not trying to do that infinity loop as it was before. It also did not include the dog in this image. So let's try lowering the noise and strength back down. We'll go back down to 0.90 and see if it includes. This seems to be a good middle ground, around 5 seconds. It also takes a lot less time to generate as well because you're not generating so many frames at once. You can see this is a lot better. And of course, if you run that through the upscaler, it will fix the problem that she's having with she doesn't seem to know where she wants to step next. But she's not trying to skip back to her original position. So I would say probably put the denoising strength around, probably around 0.95, I would say. Would be a good middle ground because then it's still incorporating parts from the original image while also giving you a unique and original video from that image. So let's go ahead and we'll do one more here, and then I'm going to show you how well it can upscale as well. Let's look for a good one here. Let's do this one right here. The girl's laying in the flowers. Something a little bit more dreamlike, something a little bit more fantasy, something a little bit more not safe for work as well. So hopefully YouTube doesn't jump down my throat for that. Now that I look at it, I should have changed the prompt. Should have changed it to character is laying in a bed of flowers. So we'll see how it comes out. I might have to regenerate it again because character isn't exactly walking towards anyone. So you can see, yeah, you know, where I had walking towards this is what I got. So you can kind of see how these viral videos are made where they've got the character kind of walking towards you and something's shaking, you know, like, well, if you wanted to get a little bit more of that shake in there, you would up this right here. So if I up this, yeah, 37, we would get a little bit more bounce in there. But let's see if it does it right this time. Character is laying in a bed of flowers. Okay, so yeah, it's still copying, you know, the general style of the character in the image, but it's not exactly placing her where she needs to be, which is fine. This is anime style anyways. I mean, it's exactly what we're going through. But if you wanted to get closer to the original image, like I was saying before, you would have to lower the denoising strength. So if you lower the denoising strength here, and the more you lower it, the closer you're going to get to the original image. So I'm going to generate again at 0.80. So now we can see we're getting a lot closer to the original image. Now, if we lower the denoising strength even more, and I wouldn't recommend going down past 7.0, you'll definitely see that it is trying to get closer to the original image itself. But then you would get, you know, you're going to get a lot less movement and stuff from the image too, because basically what it's doing is that it is inserting this image in as a sample for every frame, and since the image itself is not really moving at all, it's going to translate that over into the video as well. So you can see now it's looking more like the original image here. And you put it down to 0.7, but you're not getting a whole lot of movement out of the image itself. Which still, this is pretty good for what it is. So I would say, you know, a good middle ground would probably be maybe keep it at 75, or I'm going to keep it at 75 for now. And then we're going to go ahead and get another video here, another image. I just want to kind of demonstrate how people make these viral videos where you see like some weird creature or angel or something walking the viewer. Well, this is basically how they do it. They're probably using like the online models though. They're probably using like Kling, Minimax, and stuff like that in order to generate those videos. While as this, you know, it's completely local, it's completely free. Kind of do whatever you want with it. And then we'll just put, you know, character is walking for the viewer, right? And then we just kind of increase this right here. And then when we generate it here, we're going to get this girl walking towards us. Now I might have to up the noise again. If she doesn't have a whole lot of movement, I'll have to do that. But After we do this one, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the upscaling technique. So you can see she's not really moving that much. We're going to have to up the denoise a little bit. We'll put it up to 8.5 and cue it again. And let's put in the, that way it knows it's referencing the image. You can see it was pretty close to the original image. Like I said, it really depends on how low you put the denoising. If you don't get a whole lot of movement, then you're going to have to raise the denoising up. It's not going to stay, you know, exactly 1-to-1 with the original image, because this is basically just a style transfer. So until the Hunyuan wrapper gets some upgraded nodes, or until an actual image to video model is released, this is probably the best you're going to get with the GGUF model right now. So you can see here now she's starting to walk towards us. And this is how people make those viral videos. So let's up this a little bit more, and let's up the noise a little bit more to 0.90, and we'll go ahead and generate again. We'll just keep doing this till we get the result that we want, and after that, we'll go ahead and move to the upscaling. We can see now we're getting a lot more jiggle physics in here, right? And that's what we wanted, you know, because we want to make viral videos, right? So you can see all you got to do is kind of play around with it, experiment until you get where you want it. I think that might have been a little bit too high, and maybe lowering the or upping the denoising strength a little bit more would have helped out. But now, you know, we're getting into the viral video territory where people like to watch these videos of these girls walking toward them and they got bouncing breasts and stuff. So there you go. Let me go ahead and up this to 0.95. And, you know, we'll just do one more image, and then we'll jump into the, I know I've been saying this for the last probably 15-20 minutes, but then we'll jump into the upscaling process. So if we can find just another image, and hopefully I'm not showing something on here that don't need to be shown, because Civic AI is pretty bad for not safe for work type content, and you can kind of see what I mean, you know. Okay, yeah, we could easily take this one right here, this anime girl, see how this plays out. Good. So we can see it translated over pretty well. It's not really anime style, but it did copy the style of the character itself. But there you have it. Now we're going to go ahead and move into the upscaling workflow. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I'm going to put a note here. I'm just going to put lower noise. Right, zoom in here. Closer to original image, but less movement. So there you go. And then I'm just going to go ahead and save it. Now let's move here to the upscaling. So this is basically using the same model, the GGUF model. We can look over here and see what LoRa's I'm using right now. And I mean, these are not a requirement. I'm not using the image to video LoRa, as you can see, because it doesn't work with the GGUF model. I'm not even sure if all of these LoRa's are even working with the GGUF model. I'm not even sure even tinkering with them is actually making a difference, because I think they might have to be made specifically for the GGUF model in order for them to work correctly. So that's something to keep in mind. I was lowering the values and stuff of this earlier, but it didn't seem to be having a huge effect on the way the video is working. You can see here, I'm using the regular text encoder, right? But then down here, it's the GGUF model. And you can see I still got the same settings as I did with the style to video workflow. You know, only thing I've got working with it, I don't have like the enhanced video and stuff like that, but I got the T-catch working with it. And I put Sage Attention on here. I don't know if it's really doing anything, but it seems to be. I mean, I don't know. With this right here, I think this is completely optional. I just was trying this out, LTX attention override, just to see if it would help enhance the video a little bit, but I believe that's completely optional. If you want to disable that, you can. You can see just how many steps I'm using. 16 steps I found works pretty good. And this is basically what the flow shift was. So I've got it set to 0.9 or 9. And the guidance scale, of course, I've got it up to 30. And then the noise I've got set down to 0.35. So it stays in line with the original video. It just fixes a lot of the problems and stuff like that. So I just made a folder inside of my output for ComfyUI to be upscaled. And basically what I'm going to do is in this folder in a new window, this is over here, you can see our generations here so far, the ones that we made. We'll go ahead and put extra large icon, and we can just kind of pick out which ones we want to upscale. So I kind of like this wolf one pretty good. I'm going to pull this one over, and we can kind of pick out the ones we want to upscale. You know, I kind of like this one pretty good. I mean, who wouldn't like that? So I'm going to pull that one over here, and let's pull this one over here as well, because who doesn't like that? You know what I mean? And we'll pull this one over. Of course, we're going to pull that one over. Why not? Then let's see which else. We'll do this one too. And the last one with, I think, with the girl, the dog, we'll do this one right here. I just want to show you that these can be upscaled up to 3 times. So if you look at the current resolution of the video right now, it is 256 by 380. And then I'm going to show you when I start upscaling it, it's going to upscale by 3 times, right? I can upscale them by 3 times. Now I've got the frame load cap set to 97 frames because that seemed to be the most amount of frames I could do to upscale it by 3 times. So I'm going to show you what they look like if you just straight upscale them by 3 times at 97 frames. And then I'm going to show you what they'll look like if you just upscale them a little bit at a time instead of just jumping up to 3x. And then you can kind of compare the differences and see which is better. And of course, you want to set the number in your queue to the number of videos that you have inside of your upscale folder. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to queue 6 times, right? So I'm going to go ahead and queue it, and it's going to upscale all these videos one at a time. So you can see it's going to start with the wolf video, and it should go through everyone. And on this particular workflow, I don't get the freezes like I was getting with the other upscale workflow where it was freezing on me quite a bit. As long as I keep it at a certain amount of frames, this one does pretty well, and it's doing up to 3x upscale at once, which is way better than the other workflow that I was using before. This video right here was upscaled by 2 times resolution. You can see this is 768 by 1152. And then the other video here was reiterated over that it makes. You can see a lot more detail in the moon back here. You see a lot more detail in the clouds. And you see a lot more detail over the video several times instead of just upscaling it by 2 times. You don't get near as much detail. It's still pretty good just for, just the one upscale, 50% twice, and then by 34%. So it's upscaled twice by 50% and then upscaled by 34%. And you get around the same resolution as this, but you can tell it really depends on how much effort you want to put into making these videos look better. But this workflow here allows you or enables you basically to upscale the video. But I just wanted to show you how easy it is basically to upscale videos now with this. Help out quite a bit, especially for upscaling. So that's about all I wanted to say, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment or any questions you have below, And if you want to get access to these workflows, make sure you check out my Patreon. Thank you guys, and take it easy.